Prepare for this movie, A Star Is Born, to be nominated for a tremendous amount of Oscars. Like musical category, best actress, probably best actor for Bradley Cooper. This is one of those films. Basically, you see what La La Land was? Well, look forward to that happening with The Star Is Born, because this is twice as good as La La Land.
Thank you for watching Jody's Corner, my favorite.
Thank you so much.
YouTube was good. It's your boy Jody Joe. Welcome to Jody's Corner. I am here for a movie review for A Star Is Born. So I decided to go see this on Saturday. I saw this film on Saturday. I took my girl to it to try to get her head away from, stress of life and just have a little date night. And I was really anticipating seeing this film because seeing the trailers, it felt good to me. I'm like, man, this feels like it's going to be a good film. And it was cute and adorable, chick flick. So I said, let's go. So seeing A Star Is Born, this is basically a film that is starring Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga as the leads. Bradley Cooper plays this country music superstar named Jack. I forgot his last name. But he's a country singer who goes on tour and he's performing at these concerts and whatnot. And he's dealing with alcoholism. He stops at a bar in order to get a drink because he ran out of booze in the backseat of his limo. Goes into this bar and sees this huge place of drag and dress and partying. And he just wants a drink. And then he hears the song of an angel. At the same bar that he's at is the place where Lady Gaga's character, her name is Ali, where she is performing. And once he lays on her and eyes on her and hears her voice, that was it. It showed dedication of him trying to embrace her, love her, and show her to the world, because her voice and her music and her songwriting captivates his heart and he wants to help her. That's the synopsis of the film, and you go across the journey of their careers. This is spoiler free. Then at the end, I'm going to get into spoilers. So I'll give you guys a spoiler free review at first, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give it a spoiler free, then I'm going to give it a grade, and then I'm going to get into the spoilers and just talk freely about this film. Because I think that this should be probably less of a review. The spoiler version, spoiler free, will be more of a review, and the spoiler version will be more of a discussion. Just talking to you about certain things. So let's start with the spoiler-free review, shall we? Okay, so this movie is fantastic. The acting performances are lit. They're emotional. They're heartfelt. Bradley Cooper, the way that he was able to make his voice so cracky and so deep, and so the accent was on point. Just the way he always kept his head down when he would talk to you. He'd keep his head down, and he would love to do the look up after he talks. Oh yeah, you got one of them voices. Man, just me and my daddy at a farm, you know what I'm saying? Nailed that shit. He nailed what it is to be a shy, broken, shining alcoholic. I bought him. He was so good in this role. He wasn't Bradley Cooper. He was this man, Jack. He was this superstar, and he did a fantastic job. And what's even more shocking is that this woman, Lady Gaga, plays Ali in here. I had no idea she could act like this. She acts. Her acting prowess is up there with A-list celebrities in Hollywood. A-list actresses. You would think that she was an actress, a natural-born actress, than singer. And it's almost like, in this film, she's been acting all of her life. This is the most fluid, natural actor that went from music to film in their debut that I have ever seen. You think Whitney Houston, The Bodyguard. You think of Will Smith. It wasn't Independence Day. He did a movie before that. 6 Degrees of Separation. I didn't see that film. You see him in Independence Day. You think of Jamie Foxx. You think of any, Michael Jackson. This right here, what Lady Gaga has done in this film, blew me away. I bought her completely. She sold all her lines were believable. I mean, she matched Bradley Cooper, and it could be argued. Well, I'm saying it. She was even better than Bradley Cooper in this film. She was even better than him. She was the best actor in this film. She carried her scenes. I bought them. She delivered her lines perfectly. I believed her in her eyes, her body language. She captured the essence of a broke, starving girl who Hollywood has turned their back on because she doesn't look too good to them, who is shy and who loves to sing and who's just can't get a break. And who finally gets a break, how they would really act. Like she captivated all of that. It's like watching an American Idol winner. How they go from auditions to, I'm going to Hollywood, to, it's my first gig, my performance. Oh, I got through the 3rd round. Oh, I'm going to the finals. Oh, I won a moment like this. It's like seeing that whole entire American Idol season journey from the beginning to the winner. That's what Lady Gaga went through. That's what Ali went through in this film. And they did it in a matter of, how long? This film was about 2.5 hours, kind of long. But you got that whole entire glimpse and feel of watching a woman go from nothing to something and the whole journey in between. This film was heavy because it gives you so much, and it gives you so much emotion. It gives you heartache. It gives you joy. The music is fantastic. I love the original songs in this film. This film will win Oscar for Best Musical, bro. It's gonna win for Best Musical. It has to win for Best Musical. Original song, it's gonna win for that. All that music shit, it's gonna win. All that La La Land shit from a couple years back, no. This is gonna win that shit. You better believe that, Jack. And I'm not talking about the one up in this movie. It's lit. Lady Gaga, you just see it, and I was shocked that she could act. She's a freaking solid actress, man. Beyonce, you think about, she outdid that. She's just fantastic, man. She's hugely talented, and I didn't know that she could sing that well. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not a Lady Gaga fan, I kind of am now after seeing this movie. It's crazy how I'm kind of like a Lady Gaga fan from something other than her music. Like, you feel me? Like this film shit? Girl, this film shit you about to be on? You ain't gotta do tours no more, Gaga. You ain't gotta do albums no more, Gaga. You ain't gotta wake up all early in the morning to do the motherfucking voice code. Oh, Gaga. Just come to Hollywood and do these films, Gaga. All these actors in Hollywood love doing them, Gaga. You can do whatever you want, say however you want. It's easy, Gaga. She might want to just go ahead and change that career choice from music, 100% music, to like 50% music, 40% music, 60% film. You feel me? So I just think that she is onto something here, and I'm just blown away by how talented she is. And hearing her sing a cappella raw in this movie, so much rawness here, so much music and love and passion in this movie. Hearing her is like, hey, she can't really sing, because that weird, all the auto tunes and all the orchestras and music in the back and all the different sounding voices, la la ra, all that shit. You heard her raw voice, and maybe you do hear it in the album. I'm talking about like her singles. Her singles are so pop heavy. It's like, all right, a dime a dozen with the pop. So the supporting characters in this film were great. Most notably, Jack's brother. I loved him. And how could I love a character so much in a film? Because of their impact when they had very little screen time in the actual film. That just is a testament to how well this movie was written. This was also written by Bradley Cooper and others. It was directed by Bradley Cooper, and it starred Bradley Cooper. Bradley Cooper is just as good behind the camera as he is in front. Probably better behind. Probably. Time will tell. I'm going to go ahead and give this film a grade so we can get into the spoiler talk. I give this movie, A Star is Born, an A+. There's nothing else that I could give this film. I had to. This is my favorite movie of 2018. I had Black Panther. Number 3 is Black. I had Sicario Day of Soldado, number 1, and Black Panther, number 2. Now, it is A Star is Born, number 1, Sicario Day of Soldado, and then Black Panther. Those are my top 3 movies of 2018. This is my favorite film, and you guys must see it. Take your girlfriend to go see it. Take your mom. Take anybody. Take yourself. It's one of those movies that you could just go and sit by yourself, cry a little bit, get emotional, feel the music, and keep it pushing. Anybody could go watch this movie. Now we get into spoiler talk. Thank you guys for watching. I felt so bad for Bradley Cooper's character. I felt bad for Jack. Jack had a hard life. His dad died at an early age. Jack even said when he went to the rehab that he tried to kill himself one time when he was like 12 years old. That freaking killed me when he said that. Like, wow, 12 years old? I think he was 12. He said 12, yeah. Tried to hang himself from a ceiling fan. He said that ceiling fan stood there on the floor for half a year. Just goes to show you what type of household he lived in. So his brother, he had this older brother that looks 25 years older than him. 25 years his senior. His brother, he's an old man. And their father died, and the older brother took over the farm, a walnut farm, I believe he said it was, or something like that, in Arizona. After their father died, father was an alcoholic. Father was a drunk. Their father was bad. He wasn't a good father at all. He died at a young age, probably drunk himself to death. And Bradley Cooper's character was telling this to Allie, to Gaga's character, because she wanted to know his story. Like, stop telling me about, tell me about you. Because Allie hated the fact she saw through him. Like how the people come and approach him. Oh, can I take a picture? Like there's one shot where he's in a grocery store and the cashier's like, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, I had to. He's like, it's no problem. He said, it's okay. And Gaga was like, Allie was like, it's not okay, but we're going. It's not okay. Like she defended him. She saw his weakness. She saw him being sucked from his fans. Fans sucked the life out of their superstar. And I see that. And it makes me think about reality and these superstars and these actresses and actors and singers. And how the fans don't know what's going on in their personal life. And I'm not sure most of them really care. But the worst part is they don't even think of them as human beings. They think of them as Beyonce, Lady Gaga, Shakira, them sheets. You're Shakira. You're not a female woman who lives and breathes. You're Shakira. Sing. Oh, you're sexy. Look at you. That's what they see first, and this movie really brought that up for me and put it in the forefront, right in front of my face, and I was like, wow, that is very true, and I have a newfound respect and understanding for that. And even though Bradley Cooper has done some things in this film that weren't really good, you just love him. You just love his character. He's not a angry person. He don't have a harmful bone in his body. He's a sensitive, lonely, depressed, talented drunk. Man. And Gaga was there for him all along the way. And when he took her on stage and she started to sing for that first time, and he was invited her to that concert, and he said, come on, get on this mic and sing that song. Oh, I forgot how that song goes. I'm off the deep end. I'm out of the shallow now. I'm out of some shit, but it's beautiful. It was a cappella, and the way that her voice sung it, I felt it. Because when she sung it on stage, you knew where it come from. It come from them in the parking lot, her with peas on her freaking wrist after punching a cop in a bar who was sucking the lifeblood from him. I know you know, I want a picture. Let me get a picture. Punch that motherfucker. So you see where that song came from, which you don't see in real life. You don't see, when you hear a hit Beyonce song, oh, this is popping, yeah. But that's it for you. You don't know that if she made that song, you don't know that she made that song crying at a desk after Jay-Z came home late and threw up on the floor and said that she's not really attractive and she's not hot. So she went to her room and cried that song when she wrote that. You don't know that. But in this film, it shows you that. It showed you the source of these songs. And that is huge to me. Because it makes the songs powerful. Beyond how good they sound. Yeah, it sounded good, but they had emotional meaning. So when certain songs was playing, I felt tingly inside. And when some songs played, I cried. And me and my girl couldn't stop. We were just crying. Because it was that emotional. We were so invested in, you are invested in these two people's lives. That's just what it is. Her father, you know, I was a Sinatra. Her father, this loving Italian, out of connect, old school, hanging on. I love the father. I love the father's workers. I loved Allie. I loved Jack's brothers. The relationship between Jack and his brother is beautiful because it is so realistic to me. So back to what I was saying on the ranch. He despised his brother. His brother despised him. The older brother despised the younger brother because the younger brother made it. Even though the older brother could sing, the older brother had talent. And he took Allie to Arizona to see his father's grave. And that grave wasn't there. It was turned into a windmill, a landfill, a land plot for windmills. He came back and punched his brother. And that's when we knew that was his brother. I was like, oh, that's your brother? He said, you turned my father's grave into a landfill. Where's my father's grave? He got up, wiped the blood off his mouth. Looked him dead in his eye. I told you that the water washed his body away. Washed the whole grave away. We don't know where it is. But you were too goddamn drunk to remember. And then they started exchanging insults. He says, Bradley Cooper's character says, he says, I looked up to, he said, you should, and the older brother said, you should have never looked up to that piece of shit. I was the one that was there for you. He was like, you weren't there for me. He says, if you didn't, and the older brother said, if you didn't care so much, then why'd you take my voice? He said, I took your voice because you didn't have shit to say. And I was like, fuck. He said, all right, I quit. So they had that falling out. So it was like, dang, these fools hate each other. The older brother's a douchebag. But then as the movie goes on, you learn he's not a douchebag. You start to see this alcoholic Jack for what he is. Always getting drunk. Starts to lash out a little bit. And then I think about the tub scene. And it makes a lot of sense to me. Where Lady Gaga finally gets her album deal. She finally gets discovered. And I remember when she sits on the couch and says, oh, that guy, he said he wants to sit down with me. He wants to talk to me. He said he think I could be a star. And the way his Jack is just looking at her, he's just like, yeah. She was like, you jealous son of a bitch. You jealous? Why are you so jealous? And I understood it. Because Jack wasn't jealous. Jack was scared, afraid, and sad and upset. He was mostly scared because he knew the industry. He knew that the freaking industry was going to stick their claws into her and change her and F her up. Because Jack said, remember, you got a voice, but that don't mean shit if you don't tell the truth. If you don't be honest. People only got a window for a few years. Some people, you got to use them few years to tell your truth. Don't matter what it is, you better make sure that you tell the truth and be honest, because they listening. And that was the advice he gave her, because he knew they tried to change you. They formed the superstar the way they think they should be hot. And that's exactly what happened. As soon as you got the deal, she has to learn these 1-2-step in sync dance routines. What the freak is that? She's like, I don't want to dance, but she's learning these dances. She's dyeing her hair. You gotta change it. I don't want to wear my hair that color. Well, you gotta do it, love. Like, this is a superstar now. We wanna sell you. We're gonna sell you to the world. You're special. That douchebag manager, record label manager at I think it was Universal Interscope. Like, what the freak? And you just seeing her be fondled with by the industry, and this man who's just changing her, and she's just changing with it. And then one time Bradley Cooper comes up there, he sees her in this tub. He goes to her rehearsal, here's one of the songs she sang. What you doing with a butt like that, boy? Oh, no, 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 no. Like a Britney Spears song. A regular, classic, cliche, boring Britney Spears. I want it that way type of song. Whack. He hears that shit. He comes back to the hotel room, sees her in the bubble bathtub, all superstarred up, hair colors a different color. He just looks at her. He's drunk, by the way. He's drunk. He's always drinking. He's sitting there like, what happened? What's going on? You talking about the man's butt? It's a hot butt. That's not your music. That's not your voice. What do you mean? She takes offense. He was like, you're phony. He called her. He was being honest with her. He was being rude, but it was that harsh honesty that I respect. He says, you're being fake. You're so ugly right now. You're ugly. And then she started wrecking his life. Your daddy's a drunk. You're drunk. You ain't shit. Da, 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 da. They had that argument. When he called her ugly, it's what hurt her feelings and kicked him out, because, they've been calling her ugly all her life. And he didn't mean that she was physically ugly, though. And that's what I don't even think Ali understood. When he said you're ugly right now, it's because you in this hot tub with that song and those dances and all that bullshit doesn't represent. That's not who you are. You are the industry now. And the industry is ugly. You and all this shit is ugly. He still loved her. Still thought she was beautiful. But she was ugly in that moment. And he just hated what they were doing to his wife, because they ended up getting married. Dave Chappelle and his family was good in this film. It was okay. But she won. She got nominated for Grammys, and he was still dealing with his alcoholism. And at this point, this was the tipping cover. We know the scene where she was like, "Oh, you got nominated for a Grammy? Wow!" And then they're at the Grammy Awards. And the Grammy goes to Ali. She wins Best New Artist. So they both, he's what? She wins? He's stone cold drunk at the Grammys. This was a breaking point in the alcoholism. He's stumbling with her, walking up the stage. She's like, honey, she's trying to carry him, He falls on the stairs. She's like, just sit there. He's just sitting there while she's giving her speech. Oh, thank you. He's just messing around, looking around. And then he decides to get up. And when he decides, as he's getting up, me and we're like, oh God, no, he's about to ruin it. Oh no, please sit down. Jack, sit the freak down. He gets up on stage. Hey, yo, hey, that's you, huh, honey? And as she's upstairs, up on stage in front of everybody, accepting her freaking Grammy. It was so embarrassing, and I felt so bad for Ali. And oh my God, it was tense. It was real to me, like, oh, shoot. And then he started, oh, yeah, you guys. She was like, yeah, we had a lot of fun tonight. It's just fun and games. We're just Angelina Jolie and Billy Bob Thornton and shit. And then he starts to piss on himself. And they're like, oh, and they shocked. There's piss going down like they see it's serious. And then she uses her beautiful gown to cover it up. And they take him off. And the father takes him off. And they're carrying him away. And it's this beautiful, this emotional scene where the father's like, we got him, we're gonna take him. And this guy, this the father of Ali, who is a fan of Jack, who's a fan of the industry, who's a fan of celebrities, who's just a fanboy of anything famous, which we know. He's a freaking cocksucker of anything Hollywood. He wants to be around the spotlight in any way he can. Didn't mean shit when he got him in that hallway because his daughter meant more to him than anything, and he let that motherfucker know. He says, "You son of a bitch, how could you do this to her tonight? Freak that you're a celebrity, freak that I'm a fan," because we knew what was more important in his life, and that was his daughter, and he saw what he did to his daughter. He don't give a freak if that was Michael Jackson. I don't think he would give a freak if that was Sinatra himself. He would have let that motherfucker know, "You effing up." And I appreciated that. It was a quick little scene, but I loved it. After that, he had to go to rehab. He did 3 months in rehab. Yeah, he did 3 months of rehab. Got sober, and then she came to visit him during his second month of rehab when he had a month left. He said he liked to swim a lot, and you know, and it was a scene with just them sitting down, and she was like, "Everybody misses you." She was like, "I miss you. I want you to come home. Will you be coming home?" He's like, "Well, what do you mean?" "Well, will you be coming home to me?" She was unsure. He's like, "Well, why? You don't want me to come home?" She was like, "Well, of course I do. It's just that when I first met you in the bar, you were drunk. And you were drunk a lot of the time when we first got together. So maybe now that you're sober, you don't want to be around me anymore because you were drunk when you first met me." And I was like, "Oh, that's real insecure, but it's real." That's how women think sometimes. Like, you know, that's innocent and sweet, and that's cute, and it's adorable, and it's insecure. And it's like, oh, she's really... And it reminds you, even in her superstar status, because at this point, she's the number one artist. But she still loves her husband. She still loves him. She still wants to care for him. And she's still that insecure person. She's still the person who she was inside. And that scene let me know that, yeah, she's still humble. She's still that person. Deep down in there, behind the hair, the glamour, and the makeup and all that. He was like, "I wasn't drunk the entire time. When we were on stage singing, when we were making love, he was trying to, girl, please, I love you. I'm coming home to you." And I was like, "That's what's up." And then since he's sober, he's so different. He's able to speak his deal with his demons, and he's able to speak and finally let things out. And his brother come back. His brother come back and gave him a ride. He gave him a ride home one day. This is when they're living together, married, and they're living in this off. You can tell by their house. Their house is in a rural area. That just shows signs of recovery. Like, he doesn't want to be around the city. He's living in the woods somewhere, peaceful. Got his dog, and his brother's taking him home from rehab, I believe, or somewhere. He's dropping him off at the house. His brother didn't give up on him. And when he gets out the car, when Bradley Cooper's character Jack gets out the car, and he's looking at his brother, he has his head down with the truck door open. His brother's just looking at him. He's like, you know, you can tell he had a hard time getting it out. But he says, you remember back when you quit, when I told you that I took your voice because you had nothing to say? You always thought that I admired my father. You said it was you that I admired. And he shut the door. And this shot in the back of the truck. His brother said nothing. His older brother said no words. He just backed out. He leans back and you see his eyes watering, just like, that relationship part was so dope. Very few words were said, but his older brother loved him. He loved his older brother. They just had that That's how life is, man. You just got life there. Stuff changes. You go this way, I go that way. You do this, I do that. I got to do this because I got to take care of you. So you get your own friends, you get your own people, you get your own life, and then that space just gets opened wide and wide over the years. And in that truck scene, in that final scene, and that was the last scene with his brother. They bring it back here. His eyes was watering. That was beautiful, man. That scene made me cry in the theater. I was like, oh shoot. I feel this so much. I feel this. And then his wife come home and she's like, she's at the recording studio, and you guys know if you've seen the film. This is a spoiler. Obviously, most of you seen the film. So she's at the record label and she's like, I'm gonna take Jack on tour with me and it's gonna be great. She's telling the A&R guy, the P&R guy. He's like, you are crazy if you think you're going to take him on tour. She says, she's quiet. She doesn't say anything. It's not going to happen. She said, I would like for it to. Why can't it happen? It's not going to happen. You're not going to take that man on tour who almost ended your career at the Grammys. And she just was quiet. And before Ali could get home, the A&R PR executive went home and talked to Jack at home. He's like, Ali's not here. He's like, yeah, I actually want to talk to you. They sit down and he's like, you almost single-handedly derailed her entire career. You were this close to ending it all for her. And this destroys him. He's in sobriety, but this destroys him hearing this. And he's reminded of his drinking repercussions. And then the A&R guy says, we know this all. This sobriety is not going to last long. And when you go back to alcohol and when you go back to drugs, I don't want you anywhere near her. He crushed him. That son of a bitch went to his house when he was sober and said, you're going to fail, you're going to drink again, you're going to do drugs again, and I don't want you nowhere near her. Well, that's his husband. He's the husband. He leaves, and then he thinks about it. He thinks about it for maybe hours before Ali comes home. Like, he doubts himself. Will I drink again? Will I? Can I? And she comes home and she lays on his chest and says, he was like, yeah, how's everything? She was like, well, this is actually my last show tonight. I'm actually done with the tour. But he knows that she had shows. And he said, really? He was like, yeah, the label said they think I'm hot right now. They just need the buzz. They want me to do another album. So this is my last show. Can you come tonight and perform with me at the Forum? And he's listening to this. And his heart is breaking as she's saying it. Not because she lied to him. She lied to him that she wanted to really take him on tour. The label said no, so she said, end the tour. I'm not going on tour then. She went home to her husband. She was being loyal and protecting him. And she lied to him to protect him. This is true. And it hurt her in the end that she lied to him. But he's just laying there looking up like, I'm really hurting her. I'm hurting her career. I'm hurting her voice. I'm hurting her music. And I could imagine how he felt. Like he felt like he was just nothing. Like he's in the way. And he was okay with hurting himself, drinking himself, killing his body, drugging himself. But he wasn't okay with him harming her. He wasn't going to let that life get affected by his effed up life. And he knew, he said, yeah, I'll meet you up there. I'll meet you up there. All right. So she goes out and she performs, and it shows this back and forth between him and her at home. And as she's performing, he's not there. He's late. It's like, where is he? He's not here. He goes to his truck And then he thinks, at this point, and then he just sees that glove box. Opens that glove box. There's the pills. There's the drugs. Because he's not. He is. His hearing is going away, so his voice was hurting. So he wasn't confident in his performing because he was substituted by a younger guy because he sounded better. So he didn't have confidence in his own voice and his own performance. So I believe he saw those pills in that glove box. This is my belief now. I don't believe that he intended to kill himself as soon as he got in that truck because we know he was going to the concert. It was when he looked in that glove box, saw those pills, he reached for those pills, in my opinion. It's my belief that he reached for those pills to perform for her. He didn't want to ruin her performance ever again. After the Grammys, there was no way that was going to happen. He wanted to be in peak condition. He wanted the performance to be excellent for her. And that's why I believe he took those pills. And he took too many of them. Once he took those pills and he was high, that's when it all spiraled out of control. That's when all the demons came back. And it shows him getting out the car, pills spilling, wobbling. And then all the bad thoughts come. When you go back to that, all the badness comes back from that. And it shows him just go open the garage, close the garage. He hangs himself. Those depressing thoughts return. He killed himself in the garage as she was performing. And it was just directed so beautifully from Bradley how they set that whole scenario up. And you just see his lifeless body hanging through. Where is he? He's late. And it just shows him hanging at home, dead. And the final song is a tribute for her at an award show event celebrating her husband's life. And she sings this song that we haven't heard before. But it's the song that was talked about because he wrote it for her. And she said, "You're a songwriter now?" It shows you that earlier in the film. And then you're actually hearing the song. And it's playing these flashbacks. And then at the end of the song, it's Bradley singing it. And it's powerful, man. Because they're fake people, right? They're actors. But it represents love in a real way. And all of it comes back. All of it comes back. And it's just a full circle of this woman's pain and this woman's love and his love for her. He killed himself because he didn't feel like he was worth anything. He reminded himself of his father. And he thought that he was going to ruin her life. So he took his life in his mind to save hers. And this gets me thinking about subscribers and viewers and non-subscribers and just people who deal with depression and suicidal tendencies, suicidal thoughts and anxiety. I can't understand it because I couldn't understand it. But now with this film, I thank this film because it helps me understand. This film helped me get just how someone even in a position of power, someone in success who you would think is happy, you're a rock star, country singing, women love you, you got money, you got fame, you got riches, you got all this stuff, and yet still you are depressed and you have committed suicide. And we're hearing about all these suicides of lady Robin Williams, Kate Spade, Anthony Bourdain. How? Why? Where? What? How? Why do they kill themselves? These rich, happy, aren't they happy? What the freak? This movie, I know, I understand now. My subscribers, some of them who deal with, I understand now. Seeing this movie, I understand now. So, this movie taught me a lesson. It taught me to appreciate life. And, you know, I review films, and not just review them, films that I love the most, right? Are the films that make me feel some type of way. If I don't feel nothing from your film, you're going to know it in my review. My grades reflect the feelings that I feel when watching a movie. I am a emotional, driven human being. I say it often. My emotions dominate who I am as a person in this life. As a father, as a reviewer, whatever I am. And that's what you're going to get from Jody's Corner in anything that I do. So that's how I review my films. And this movie made me feel so many type of ways. And that's why I give this film an A+. It's really good. And it might not be, this is personal to me. This is my channel. I'm being personal right now. Some of y'all might think that, this nigga crying and shit, this is whack. This chick flick was weak. It was bland. If you don't have that connection with the film, then that's fine. This is the connection that I had with it. This is the connection that it's a connection. It's great acting performances. It's great. It's a beautifully made film that just happens to have so much emotion and life lessons in it for me. Because, I'm on YouTube and I'm learning things. And this film is a learning curve for me. I'm really personable with some of my subscribers. I'm really personable with some of the I call my subscribers family. And I know some of their life stories, and I know some of their situations, and this film makes me think of them. And, that's basically that. Suicide and suicidal thoughts are no joke, seeing off of this. And if you guys are one of the people that are dealing with suicidal tendencies, thoughts, depression, y'all need to just go ahead and tell somebody, get some help from somewhere. I don't give a freak what it is. Say it as a joke if you want to. I want to kill myself sometime. Get it out there. Let it be said. It probably will help you feel better. And keep saying it as a joke, if that's the only way you can say it. Because that probably will give you the strength to say it for real. To someone. That's where I'm at. This film's going to win Oscars, and you heard that right here on Jody's Corner. I'd like to thank you guys for watching my review. And, yeah, man. I love y'all so much, man. Subscribe to the channel for the real content. And put down in the comment section what you guys think about this movie. How did this movie make you feel? Do you guys understand what I'm talking about? Those of you who've seen it, y'all know what I'm talking about. And those of you who haven't seen it, who made it this far, that's crazy that y'all guys got spoiled like that. But go check it out for yourself. And, just watch it. Don't expect anything like I did. Just don't expect. Just relax your mind and just be quiet and watch it and let the story tell itself. All right, y'all. I'm Jody Joe, and I'm out this thing. Deuces.